Okay, guys, this is super importante. I had to pause this video. I actually got to mute this and bring this over here because Xdefiant received its first major breaking update today, and honestly, I want to do a reaction video to it. And the best way to do a reaction video to it is probably do a reaction piece to one of the greatest FPS creators of all time, Jeff. Jeff, what do you got to say about this update, amigo? Hi, Jeff. Let me turn you back up. I don't think the people in the back heard you. Can you say it one more time for the people in the back, Jeff?
Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Jeff. Back here over on
Perfect, buddy.
some more Xdefiant. This morning they ended up putting out a patch that ended up actually fixing a few issues with the game. So one of the big complaints on this game was the amount of jump and crouch spam that a lot of people were doing. Like, it's straight up not even good movement type stuff. This isn't the same thing as people complaining about people being able to jump in a game. And then
That's like people coming around the corner, like that meme where it's like the guy running away from the panther comes up around the corner back down. Sometimes I feel like an Xdefiant, you're fighting a dude who's jumping on the wall, jumping off the wall, like he's tap strafing like it's freaking Apex Legends. And not that that's a bad thing, but maybe tune it down just a little bit or have some type of penalty for it.
then calling it not realistic or something like that. I mean, literally people that have no idea what they're doing, they just grip their controller as hard as they possibly can and then just keep clicking the jump button while aiming. Zero movement, just hopping in place over and over and over again like a dumb. So now they ended up adding a penalty into the game where if you end up jumping too many times in a row or crouching too many times in a row, you end up getting
I would like to see the crouch
where
one.
It starts adding sway to your
I was
aiming.
more of
Now,
like a
if you played the
croucher than a
betas and
jumper.
other
I'd feel like
tests
2
and stuff
jumps and a
before this,
crouch.
What's very odd is this already existed. This was in the game before, and for whatever reason, it did not make launch.
I do remember this in the beta, and I was
Normally, before, you would be able to jump in place, and whenever you jumped like this, you would be able to jump repeatedly over and over and over again. But as you can see, right now, my aim, I'm not doing anything either, by the way. I'm aiming in, ADS. I can jump and watch my aim.
Oh, look at that sway.
I'm not touching anything.
Look at that
It's
massive
adding
sway.
into your aim.
Which is
so
how
even
it should
if
be.
I try to control and fight against it, it's gonna be a lot more difficult to hit your shots if you're spamming that. Same thing happens when you crouch too much. See? Happens just like that.
Okay,
Basically, the
cool.
pattern goes like this over and over and over again, and then sometimes it'll reverse itself.
A lot
so
of
that
mayors.
penalty, good. I think this is a good thing to be adding to the game. I thought it
Agreed.
was a good thing that was in the game before. I was very confused when they didn't have it anymore. So now all these people that you
Yeah, when at launch when it didn't have this type of penalty for it, it felt like why do we have this in the beta for it not to be at the full launch? It did feel odd. I will agree with you, Sir Jeff.
end up seeing just like jumping in place, just straight up autopiloting what they think is movement or evasive maneuver in any way, that all stops here. The penalty is massive. Let's see how many jumps we can get in here.
One, two, three, and then it should start.
We got 3 jumps. 1, 2, 3. We're still good. Now let's try 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we get that little penalty, and then it resets right there. Now let's see if we do it 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each subsequent jump after the 3rd jump, the penalty activates and then gets more and more intense. So you can still hit your shots technically. You can still keep jumping. You're better off with side-to-side movement. Stop jumping in place like this. You're bad. And also, I won't be able to show it in here because I don't think anything in here actually shoots back at you. But they also ended up adding flinch to the sniper rifle. I ended up annoying some people with my earlier comments when I started playing Xdefiant initially on the full release, saying that I think sniping is harder than it is over on Call of Duty. And I still think that's the case, but having no flinch whatsoever was obnoxious as shit. Getting sniped by the worst players on the fucking planet. I was trying to make the case that, oh, well, if you're just getting sniped by somebody, they're just better than you. I stand by that with flinch. Without flinch, yeah, that shit's cheesy. I gotta say it. It's cheesy as fuck. Have to add flinch. Flinch is necessary. Just from a balanced perspective, I was getting killed by the worst snipers on the planet. All that fraud shit stops here.
Let him cook.
Update over on my camo grind here.
I had to let him cook for a minute, but it's true. Sniping definitely needs to be rewarding. Upper torso, headshots definitely need to be one-shot kill every time, no matter the game. But if you're not gonna have flinch and snipers, or like if I'm ADS and I get shot and there's really no penalty for it, like that's kind of cheese. If you're gonna snipe and you're gonna require that precision, there should be a penalty for ADSing and then being shot. And now in the new update, from what I understand, is if you get shot in the body, you're going to flinch upwards, and if you get shot in the head, it's gonna be like a flinch downwards.
Yeah, you can see all these classes. I got a bunch of gold on all of this stuff. So, looking over here, I have all of the SMGs done. I have all of the shotguns done. I have all of the marksman rifles done. I have all the sniper rifles done. And I have all of the secondaries done. So the only thing that I have left now are the LMGs these 3, and these 3 assault rifles.
What?
Now, here's my plan. I need to get all of these gold before the Elden Ring DLC comes out. I have 6 weapons remaining. No double weapon XP to be seen unless it comes out this weekend. Hey, I gotta say it. Mark, please. You are very aware that the XP rates are going to be adjusted or whatever. I'm gonna assume that those adjustments will probably come in Season 1. You guys have done a double XP weekend for the past 3 weeks in a row, I think it has
Do
been.
4.
Give us another double XP weekend.
Please.
Man. Please, I beg of you. I need
Please.
this. So I did the math.
I
to
need
get
it as
one
well.
weapon from level 1 to level 100 without any double XP whatsoever. It's taken me around 7 to 9 hours or so per weapon. And this is also farming like 70 plus kills a game on average. It's crazy when you drop over 100 kills and they give you like 3.5 levels. It is brutal. Mark, please, I beg of you. I need this double XP. I can still make it here, but doing the math, if I have to spend, let's even say I take a little bit longer than I want to, 10 hours, I'm awake for around 15, 16 hours a day, sleep for like 8 to 10 hours or something. Doing the math here, I can do it just in time. My M16 is already level 25 on the day because I ended up doing my...
He's gonna be grinding this all day, every day up until that Elden Ring DLC just to make sure all the weapons are tapped out. Jeff, you are a grinder.
Which actually started at like level 47 or something, got that to 100, and then I did this M16 up to 25. So I didn't even get 100 levels yesterday in me playing for like 8 hours straight, just dropping bombs. I can't imagine how the average player feels that drops like 20 kills a game. I'm getting on average 2.5, 3 levels or so. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm in the level 100 club. Touch grass, smelly seat, all that. Now there is this little, thing over here where you can actually earn XP. You can see right here, you can earn 2 weapon XP, 1 battle pass, and I guess 2 other battle passes or something. I don't know. But I already earned them, as you can see, 2 of 2 already. And it refreshes in 20 hours. So technically, I can still get 2 more double XP things, which should help me. Probably gonna end up doing the LMGs last. Now, usually they end up announcing whether there's going to be a double XP thing or not on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's usually like a scheduled tweet. So I got 3 assault rifles, 3 LMGs
please let
to
there
go,
be
and 9 days to do it.
XP weekend up until Season 1, please.
XP, it is absolutely brutal. Mark, you know how big of a deal Elden Ring is. Please double XP. Also, I noticed I had much better 1% lows ever since I ended up turning on the NVIDIA Reflex On plus boost. For the longest time, I just had it on and not boost. And usually on other games like Call of Duty, for example, the on plus boost versus boost made barely any difference whatsoever. Sometimes it even hurt it to have boost on. This game, putting it on boost, I was having this weird issue where I would go from an average, like right there in the corner, I'm recording, so it's a little bit lower than usual, but right now I'm getting like 300
That's
frames.
lower than usual.
It would randomly dip down to like 150 frames for like 5 to 10 seconds straight, and then would go back up, even if I'm standing in the exact same spot, all by myself.
I was getting that
it
with
can happen
ping.
in the practice mode as well. As soon as I did the on plus boost, that completely stopped, so I highly recommend it. If you're experiencing any weird frame drops or anything like that, definitely turn that shit on. Also, the M16 is
Thanks for the tip, Jeff.
fucking disgusting. Already immediately
Agreed.
noticing less jumping. I don't mind jumping in the game, but when your jumping serves absolutely no purpose, it's just this reflex. It reminds me of like
Agreed.
when someone throws a temper tantrum and they're trying to get people away from them. All you can simply do is just like push them away from you with your hands, but instead they're rolling around on the ground, kicking and pushing at the same time. You're just flailing around, no thought process at all. You're just swinging your limbs. The way people react annoys the fuck out of me. I'm seeing people tag me in like these tweets of people beating Elden Ring and stuff like that. Listen, dude, hey, once I start playing Elden Ring again, I'm telling you, I'm out for blood. Anybody that's sitting there using that Mimic tier cheese shit, Blasphemous Blade, I'm bullying. I'm sorry. If you're somebody that's using Mimic and all of the cheesiest things that you could possibly find in the game, at least recognize that, you know what I mean? And I understand that this leans into the whole elitist mentality thing. I understand that. A lot of people roll their eyes at it, but at least actually accept the reality that you are choosing things that make the game easier for you. Does that make sense? Because I see this common thing where people are saying, well, it's in the game, so I can use it. Now, while that's true, why do you have such a hard time saying that it makes the game easier for yourself? And then also other people end up making it like turning it into this whole extreme thing where you're not really playing the game until it's level 1, no heals, no nothing. I'm not saying that. I'm just asking people to actively acknowledge that they are doing things that make the game easier for themselves and that they are incapable of doing it without it. The way I think of it is playing through Elden Ring and then beating Elden Ring and then saying Elden Ring is an easy game when you use plus 10 Mimic with Blasphemous Blade or any other cheesy ass weapon in the game is like signing up for a boxing gym, walking through the front door and then shooting the instructor. Using a plus 10 mimic, yeah, sure, it's in the game. But do you do everything in your power at all times to try to cheese your way through everything that you do? Like, yeah, in real life, I can cheat on every single test that I've ever done. Do I do it on every single test? Some of them, sure. But I recognize that I cheated and that I don't actually know the information. I didn't learn anything. You understand what I'm saying? It's like agreeing to a sparring match with somebody, a boxing match, and then as soon as the fight starts, you kick them in the balls. That's what using plus 10 mimic is. If you're saying that it's permissible to do anything just because it's possible, you're literally jumping the boss. Sure, it's in the game, but you're not playing fair. Call me elitist, call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you know what the truth is. You can play the game however you want. I just need you to recognize that you did take shortcuts. You did. I would also like to see those same people play like a Souls game without summons in it. Like, at least you mechanically have to like engage with the game. You have to at the very least acknowledge that it is too hard for you to do it without. If you were able to go and complete the game without even understanding what the fuck a waterfowl is, you didn't really learn anything. Because if they go and did that fight without that, or with a different type of build, without summoning, or played any other Souls game that doesn't even have summoning in it, then you're just being disingenuous. You know what it is. I'm not looking down on people that use the summons and shit like that. I'm looking down on the people that sit there and claim that they're like, the game is fucking easy when you have done everything in your power to actually not play the game. Don't call the game easy if you sat there and used every single thing that you possibly could. It's like claiming you're an NBA all-star when you went and won some sort of game at your rec center. It's just openly disingenuous as fuck. There's got to be accessibility. There should be an easy mode in the game, and I agree. But at least recognize that you did that. You know what I mean? At least recognize. Like the people that are like, yeah, I did.
Tell me how you really feel.
Fuck out of the game. And I scurried out of there like I got away with robbery because I did. I can at least respect somebody that at least stands on it. You sitting there coming up with all these excuses to protect yourself is like, I can't roll my eyes any harder, man. All right, I went off on a tangent about Elden Ring. I'm having people.
Okay, I need to figure out who he's talking about now, right?
Are coming back to the game or finishing the game for the first time, and people are tagging me like, this person beat this boss in this amount of tries. On your video, you died X amount of time. Yeah, it's like claiming you have like a higher bench press than somebody else when they literally had an entire team of people next to them lifting the weight up with them. Literally, that's what the mimic is doing. It is literally helping you lift that weight. I lifted the same weight without the help. Recognize that you got help. Simple. Mimic is not the same as just having a good build. Honestly, any summon, anything that literally makes the AI not interact properly with the player versus the mob, and you're basically playing like an advanced Pokemon simulator where your pet literally tanks everything and then you just sit there and bounce and juggle aggro back and forth off of each other, you're taking advantage of a simplified AI that is literally designed to just fight one person. I went back and I looked at my old videos of me playing the game. I summoned like shit, but I can recognize now it is what it is. I needed the help at the time. I did not think that I could do it without that help. But then when I finally did it without that help, the feeling is unmatched. Again, let me clarify. Summoning is completely fine. Just recognize that you needed it. Don't sit there and try and act like it's the same thing as what the other people are doing. This is why Kai's run was so respected, because he never played a Souls game in his fucking life. And he did this shit as raw as possible because he knew if he took any of those shortcuts, he was cheating himself. He didn't want the chat to be able to say nothing, and they can't. They can't say nothing. Meanwhile, other people that went and completed it, you know, with summons and all those shortcuts and acting like, you know, they didn't do it that way and trying to come up with these little excuses to go and protect their own egos. Like, oh, well, it's in the game. You're just disingenuous. You know what it is. Now, I don't know if I'm just getting into like less sweaty games at the moment, but I am noticing much less jumping. And I think 3 jumps in a row is actually like a very good sweet spot. I was afraid that they were going to overdo it and make it so it's just like impossible or just feels like shit to even jump at all in the game, but you can bunny hop 3 times. That's plenty. One-man army noob tubes and stuff are in the game as well, but you gotta at least recognize that it's cheesy as fuck. I'm curious, if there was a spell in the game, some ultra secret super spell in the game, that you casted it one time and every single boss died, and it was in the game on purpose, I wonder if people would say that, well, it's in the game, so I'm really curious how far they would go to excuse it. I feel like they absolutely would use it, yeah, and then claim that they beat the game. Well, it's in the game. The added flinch on the sniper rifle, I saw a demonstration of it. It's hard to show it to you guys, but basically, if you shoot somebody in the body, the flinch will be a regular flinch, like it usually flinches.
Jeff, I already told him this.
Flinches you upwards.
But
if you get shot in
tell
the
your
head,
people.
it actually flinches you down. I don't think I've ever seen myself get flinched down, unless maybe like the person was like above me. I don't know if I've ever tried to combat down flinch before. It's usually almost always exclusively upwards. I mean, they can win the game. I'll take my 100 kills or whatever it is. My victory is getting gold on every weapon. Sorry, not 100 kills, 88 kills, but
still,
this
damn.
was supposed to be an Xdefiant video, and I ended up ranting about Elden Ring. It's okay to use it. Completely viable. Shit, even the world to go and do it is viable. Even Miyazaki himself said it, but at least recognize it for what it is. Good luck on the DLC.
Jesus Christ, Jeff. Man went earned.